Good afternoon, everyone. We hope all is well. My name's Justin Simmons. I'm with the CUNY Inclusive Economy Initiative. I'm here with some wonderful colleagues. We have Kristen Schrader from Parker Dewey, and we have Dr. Tammy Christensen, who's the internship coordinator in our Health Services Administration major. We thank you all for joining us today. This is a very exciting opportunity that we have that we want you all to take advantage of. We know how difficult it can be with managing internships amongst the multitude of other tasks and responsibilities that you have. And Parker Dewey will help make it much easier for you and also easier for our students on that other end. So we want to, hey, Christine, you're here too. And our colleague Christine Calero is here too, our wonderful academic advisor and career advisor for a lot of the students that we work with in health services administration and our other majors. All right, so we got a strong team here. But yes, we want to make sure that you all have the opportunity to learn more about the wonderful work that Parker Dewey is doing, especially with Lehman College. And as well, they're going to talk about a special grant that we have in place for the next few months that we hope that you're able to take advantage of. So thank you all for joining us. I'll turn it over to Kristen and let's learn more.
Awesome. Thank you all so much, Justin. Thank you for bringing us all together, and a huge shout out to the rest of the Lehman Career Services team. I know there's a lot of folks that joint effort to bring us all, but I'm really excited to share, as Justin alluded to, a really unique opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about what this whole micro-internship thing is. If you're not familiar, not a problem. We will get you caught up to speed momentarily. But also, as Justin mentioned, there is a great opportunity to engage Lehman students at no cost to you, thanks to a generous grant. So stay tuned. We'll get there in just a moment. So just to give you a little bit of background, so my name again, Kristen Schrader. I lead the partnerships team at Parker Dewey. Now, you'll hear a little bit more about Parker Dewey, but my background is first in human resources and then in university career services. Like I'm sure many of you, I have been in the position of hiring folks and went to career fairs and the whole 9 yards. But I'm always very passionate about helping students and organizations find the right fit, because that's at the core of what we're here to talk about here with micro-internships and Parker Dewey. So without any further ado, I want to just share, I'm not sure why it skipped ahead bazillion slides. Give me a second here to get that caught up. So again, apologies. So you may notice our logo has this Venn diagram because we have 3 primary stakeholders that we focus on. First of all, you, your organization. So large, small, whatever you might be and representing, we work with organizations of all sizes, for-profit, nonprofit, government entities, et cetera. And our ultimate mission through these micro-internships is that you are able to access, engage, assess, and ultimately hire some amazing early career talent that by working on them through these through these projects, you're able to say, wow, this is an amazing student that I may not have otherwise would have met, that I want to bring on as for a longer term opportunity. So our method of doing this, I keep saying it, is this micro internship. And these are short-term paid professional projects. We came up with the concept about 10 years ago, so I've learned a few things here and there about what kinds of projects are appropriate for early career talent. Early career meaning these are predominantly college students, some recent grads, but students that are pursuing any number of academic programs, undergrad, grad, sometimes 2-year institutions, including even certificate programs, boot camps, and so on. It's a big eclectic pool of talent that you can engage all in one place, and we'll talk more about that as well. So to just now talk about what is this micro internship? And I've said it already, but these are short-term paid professional projects. Those are the 3 big things to keep in mind. Now, projects meaning, if you and your organization have interns, you may, for example, have them during the summer. Maybe you've had them, a handful of students working with you right now. Well, the types of projects that students do during a typical internship could become a micro internship. The advantage being that you can post these opportunities on demand at whatever schedule works best for you, whatever duration works best for you. We find that organizations, for typically nonprofits, but really any organizations, have these on-demand projects that they need help with and may not be able to wait until the summer if they have these longer-term internship programs. You also may be in a position where, maybe you have a bunch of students that are coming in over the summer, but you'd love to be able to screen them a little bit better. And so we find that companies who are posting micro internships at scale are using it sometimes as a recruiting tool to be able to say, wow, these are the students that I want to shortlist for my internships or even full-time opportunities. Now, these projects all are centered around a specific deliverable. What thing do you want the student to complete? They're not designed to be something that replaces a part-time job or certainly an internship, something longer term. They all have the specific deliverable that you want the student to complete in a specified period of time. Now, typically these projects take between 10 to 40 hours. They could be longer or shorter, but that's where the majority of them fall. And again, they're posted at your leisure, at your schedule. Now, I mentioned already, these are designed to be paid opportunities. Why? Well, first and foremost, we think that's the most fair. Fair for the students because they're doing real work, more equitable, more accessible, and it allows you to reach a far more diverse talent pool in a place where you're going to engage students, including those who may not be able to do a traditional internship. You're going to be able to engage and reach students that maybe couldn't afford to do something unpaid, and this payment might make the difference between being able to do an opportunity versus not. Now, the good news I have about payroll or payment, is twofold. First and foremost, Parker Dewey handles all of the payment to the students for every opportunity on our platform. That makes it easy for you. You don't have to worry about how do I pay this student, HR, admin, legal, all that stuff we take care of. Now, the student is under NDA. You own their final work product, but we make it easy for you so that you can come up with a project and then the rest is, at least administratively, is taken care of for you. The other piece of good news that I have, as mentioned already, Parker Dewey received a grant that allows you to engage students at eligible schools, including Lehman, to be able to do these micro internships, to host these students for 15-hour projects at no cost to you. Now, there's a few caveats I'll talk a little bit more about in just a moment, but again, this is a great opportunity for you because Lehman is an HSI career collaborative school. There's a number of institutions that fall under that. You can engage students at Lehman at no cost on these short-term projects. Last big piece of the definition I want to make sure I state is that these are designed to be professional projects. Think of something that would be appropriate again for those interns. This isn't bag my groceries, babysit my kids. This also isn't something that's going to require the expertise of somebody with 10 plus years of industry experience. It's really designed for those early career projects, similar again to what a student would do during an internship, or their first job after college. So to get started, it's really simple 3 steps. You post your project, select the student that you want to work with, and the work gets done. And a part of the reason why we want this to be simple for you is because, again, we have 10 years of expertise in understanding things like what makes a good project, how much time should you budget for a student to be able to complete this particular project, how to identify what students I should be focusing on, and so on. Parker Dewey is here to lend that kind of support, in addition to once you've selecting the student, doing the administrative payroll and all that stuff. So to get started, I want to showcase for you a website that we built in collaboration with Lehman, and I'll put this in the chat in case you want to check it out at your own leisure. But this highlights for you how to get started. So you can simply create an account. There is no cost to doing so, and creating an account for your organization takes less than 5 minutes. We basically just want your organization's name, a little blurb about it so that the students will know who you are, and ideally a website or social media links, again, so that the students can learn a little bit more about your organization when they're deciding if they want to apply for your project. From there, you can see some more information about how it works, which we're covering in today's session, so no need to read through that at this point. But then you can also see some micro-internship templates. Now, you'll see this little pop-up that came up in the corner here. I've deliberately not gotten rid of that because the grant that I mentioned before allows you to participate in posting these micro-internships at no cost. So a little bit more about that. Again, these are designed to be 15-hour projects, and it's only available to students at certain schools. What schools? Well, again, this is the grant organization who stipulated this, but this particular grant has come from the Frederick A. DeLuca Foundation. The DeLuca Foundation, Frederick A. DeLuca, he was the original founder of Subway at the restaurant. This has nothing to do with Subway, but that's where this family foundation got its origin. And they have strong ties to Connecticut and Florida. And so the students who are automatically eligible are any students attending post-secondary schools in Connecticut and Florida. But in addition, any student who attends an HBCU, so a historically Black college or university, and member institutions of the HSI Career Collaborative, such as Lehman. Those are your institutions, so essentially you have access to hundreds of academic institutions, including Lehman, through this program. And so a couple of different ways to get started. We have a team, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the ways we can help if you did want to have a conversation, but you can also just see some sample projects. Now, the DeLuca Foundation is really focused on supporting organizations through this program who have two primary objectives. One, if you are using the micro-internship as part of your hiring process. So in other words, think of an open role that you're trying to fill right now that's an entry-level role. Maybe it aligns to some of these projects. Maybe your role is in sales. Maybe you need help with marketing. Maybe you have a data analyst role. With any number of these projects, you can click on Post Now, and that particular project will pre-populate for you. It'll be marked as part of the DeLuca Foundation so that we know you're participating as part of this program. You can clarify the timeline for this particular project. You can clarify the deliverables. Now, we have some suggestions, some ways you can get started, but this is something that is customizable. From there, you want to add your location. Now, most micro-internships are completed remotely. We always recommend that whenever possible, do complete these micro-internships and work with the students remotely. It makes it easier for you. You don't have to figure out where are they going to sit, what computer are they going to use, things like that. But it also makes it more accessible for the students. That way you can work with a student in New York who might be, even if you, are located wherever you might be located. And similarly, you might find that the next person that would be amazing for this project may be geographically far away, or maybe is in the city, but just doesn't have the time or ability to easily get to your location. Now, if you want, you can toggle this over to on-site if the project does need to be completed in person. And then again, that city and state will certainly help to make sure that the student knows where you might be. From there, this is where you can add you can adjust how many students you want to work with for this program. Now, this will pre-populate a 15-hour project, and again, it is fully funded by this program, and that's why this is important. So you'll be participating as part of this DeLuca Foundation program. You will not be charged for this project, and you can also work with multiple students if you'd like. So particularly if you have this data analyst role that you're trying to fill, it might pay to have not just one student, but maybe 5, maybe 10 amazing Lehman students work on this project. And that way you get the benefit of seeing all of these students in action to be able to see which ones are going to be the great fit for that particular role or project. And again, that is something that is fully funded up to 10 projects per organization. Now, scrolling on down, this is also very important because here you can stipulate that you only want this project to be visible for Lehman. Or you can just make it exclusively available. You can X out that DeLuca Foundation, and now we know this is a Lehman exclusive project. Similarly, if you leave this open as it was before and you don't stipulate Lehman, now Lehman will still see this, but also all of the students from the other eligible schools. My recommendation is if you have a project in mind with a very quick turnaround, like you need it done tomorrow, the next day, post it as open to as many students as possible. And that way you can always filter to find students from target schools but this will allow you to get the maximum number of applicants as quickly as possible. Lastly, you can add a couple of application questions that you want the students to answer. There's always this default, why should we select you? But you can add additional questions if you wish. It could be project specific, they could be, why would you be interested in our organization? We see that a lot with nonprofit organizations or other community-based organizations where it might be a question pertaining to what do they know about their organization, or why is that organization's mission something that's important to the student? And this can again help to discern not only can the student do the project, but also are they a good fit from you from a cultural standpoint. And then when you're ready, you can click post now and the project will be reviewed, but then will be visible to all of the eligible students that you selected. So I did keep these instructions and screenshots available in the presentation so you can look through it at your leisure, share it with a colleague. Yes, we're recording today's conversation. Yes, we'll send over the recording and the slides afterwards in case you, want to review this in greater detail. But I do have, for example, what you would need to put in that schools and affiliations program section visible so that you can check this out and make sure that your project would be covered by the grant if that's something that you wish to do. Now, I mentioned before that the DeLuca Foundation is interested in supporting organizations who are interested in hiring. However, the other big beneficiary that they would like to support through this grant are nonprofit organizations. And so organizations, if you are a nonprofit, and even if you do not have an open role that you're trying to fill right now, we also can point you in this direction. I'll put this link in the chat as well. This is designed for nonprofits. And any .org organizations, this is for you, where you can see some organizations like the ALS Foundation, Association that's participated in the program in the past. But you can also see an example of some projects that we regularly see nonprofits posting and getting students help from. You can always post a custom project if you wish, but these projects, it's just a handful of examples, but we regularly see nonprofits who need help with grant research, who need help with drafting an article, need help with social media, and so on. And these projects are designed to give you that just-in-time support. And you can also post something custom for things like updating a website, or maybe it's something around doing research on competitive analysis or what have you. And again, we see regularly those types of projects if you wanted something like that to be customized for you. Now, once your project has been posted, you will only see applications from students who have applied to that project. Parker Dewey is not a resume database. You can't post a project and see the thousands upon thousands of students that are in our platform. You have to post the project and you'll only see those applicants, which makes it easier for you. Now you don't have to filter through those hundreds of thousands of students. You can just see those students that want to work with your organization on that particular project. And you can see their profiles, see how they've answered those short answer application questions, see their resume, their LinkedIn profile, etc. And you can see who is the best fit for that particular opportunity. And then once you've selected that student, we recommend that the engagement kicks off with a short meeting via Zoom, Teams, whatever you decide you want to do, but quickly go over the project with the student. Clarify what you need done, timeline, deliverable dates, due dates, answer any questions that the student might have. Clarify all of those expectations, and don't worry, we'll send you a list of the things you may want to think about. We also send the same kind of list to the student so they can frame their questions and conversation. But then from there, the student is primarily working from wherever they might be living, department, dorm room, whatever, and meeting whatever those expectations are, those deadlines that you and they agreed upon. They're working asynchronously as a general rule, so whatever schedule works best for them, and then provided that they had that final deliverable completion. We see that the students oftentimes, they're pretty highly motivated. You're competing with a large number of students for these projects. It's highly competitive, and we find that the students really rise to the occasion, that they're excited about working with organizations, but about putting to work what they're learning in the classroom. Yes, they are getting paid for it, which is, of course, very, very important to them as well. But they are also getting that real resumeable experience. And they, again, are doing a really fantastic job, as evidenced by the fact that over 98% of the projects that are kickoff are ultimately completed. Now, to throw a few more statistics your way, we find that the reason, and one of the big reasons why this works so effectively for students, is that they really, like as I mentioned, want to put to work what they're learning in the classroom. We've surveyed students and they've said that 75% of them have started and want to start exploring career paths as early as their sophomore year of college. Their first and second years, these are really highly motivated students. They want to put to work what they're learning. But they've also said that traditional recruiting options oftentimes just fall short of allowing them to really demonstrate all that they can bring to your organization. And I think we could probably all relate to that. I know I've attended many career fairs as both student, career services person, and recruiter. And those conversations that you have certainly can help, but it's hard to really get to know the student to really see if there is that mutual fit there. And it's a flood of information, a flood of students, and it's just a lot to keep track of. And the students realize and recognize it as well. They want to put to work what they're learning, and this is a really fantastic avenue for them to do so. But the benefits aren't just on the student side. You and your organization can benefit from this one singular platform, having access to students, yes, at Lehman, but also nationwide. And we're honored to work with hundreds of academic institutions who have proactively reached out to Parker Dewey to partner with us, such as Lehman and many other CUNY schools. But we also have relationships and students at virtually every academic institution across the country. So it's a massive pool of students that are, again, proactively, they're very excited to get started in their career exploration and putting to work what they're learning on these real world projects. If diversity, equity, and inclusion is a priority for your organization, we're also really honored to say that over 80% of the students who have been selected for micro-internships come from historically underrepresented backgrounds. Now, that's something we're super excited about because that aligns with our mission as an organization to make these opportunities as accessible and equitable as we possibly can make them. However, we're not picking the students. This is the students that they are the ones getting picked because they are the ones by the companies, by the organizations, by you, because they're the best fit for these projects. And they do a phenomenal job, as evidenced by the fact that 97% of the companies say that the students' final deliverable met or exceeded their expectations. So again, a lot of really meaningful metrics. Now, why do all these data points matter? Well, and how does it all work? Well, we see that just by simply applying for the micro internship, you're able to really discern a lot of amazing, important information. If you look, for example, at all of these core skills, self-starter, attention to detail, these are all things that we want in our organizations, irrespective of the job. We need to have folks that have good communication skills, who have empathy for your client base, your mission, your customers, whatever. And by working with them on these projects, you're able to discern, is the student truly a fit in both their technical skills as well as these core skills? For example, just by simply applying to the project, you're able to see that they take initiative, that they are interested in your organization. Based on the quality of their application responses, you can see that they have strong, or maybe not so strong, written communication skills. And then by working with them on the project, you're able to judge other things like how coachable are they? When you give them feedback, how did they take it? Did they implement your suggestions? How about timeliness? Did they turn that project in on time? And again, we've all hired folks. We've all hired folks that we probably thought were going to be amazing and maybe fell a little bit below expectations. Well, micro internships can help you filter out at the onset some of those things where that just may not be the fit. And that's all in addition to the work product, being able to see that the quality of the work is finally there, that they have the professionalism, that they have the intellectual curiosity, that they ask good questions while you were interfacing with them. Do they actually think through the final deliverable, the audience, and some of those core things? Now, for those of you who are organizations that hire not just maybe one or two students for these ad hoc projects, but might be interested in something larger, something that you recruit interns at scale. We see micro internships being used for that purpose regularly, where they're hiring not just one student for one project, but maybe 10 students, 20 students, 100 students for that one project. We call that a micro-internship program, and it has a bunch of different benefits, but I want to talk just a moment, just for briefly, about how companies can do that. So first of all, it starts with your goals. We want to talk with you, understand, what is the pain point, the recruiting challenge that you're looking to solve? Is it, for example, that you have a role that is really, really hard to fill, that's perpetually open on your team? Is it that you are trying to deepen your brand? You want to make sure that every student in XYZ academic program at Lehman knows about your organization. Maybe you're looking to build your pipeline. Maybe you're not necessarily thinking about this summer's open roles, but those for the class of 2026 and 2027. No matter what your initial goals and strategies might be, micro-internships can help. So for example, job auditions. This is for those perpetually open roles. For Smith and Nephew, which is a medical device company, they went to career fairs, they had their target schools. This did not replace any of that. But for them, their perpetually open role was on their business development team. And they had a rotational development program for sales, and they were still looking for some talent. They still were trying to find some additional students. And so they posted a micro internship, which was essentially do research on one of our products, develop a sales pitch, deliver it. And so that allowed them to interface with students nationwide at schools that they, in some cases, hadn't even heard of, but they were able to meet students, a variety of a wide cross-section of academic programs and majors geographically all over the place, and be able to identify students that ended up, in their case, it led to 5 full-time hires, but their cost per hire was reduced by over 70%. And keep in mind, pretty much all that money is going into the pockets of the students, which has some nice visibility and nice just messaging to the students, and that you as an organization are making that kind of investment in them even before bringing them on as an intern or full-time employee. Now, maybe your role that perpetually open role isn't in sales, but what we'll do is work with you and try to understand and dissect your job description for that open role into identifying projects that might be a good fit for that particular role to help you see, is this student going to be a good match for whatever the job might require. And again, we help you through this. You don't need to be doing this yourself. That's what our team is here and happy to support. Now, maybe you're interested in using this to help promote your brand, to build awareness with Lehman students, or maybe students at other target schools. That's what Train Technologies was trying to do. And so they used campus ambassadors at targeted schools where they already had relationships, and they were looking to deepen those relationships. Campus ambassador, now you don't have to worry about having them on your books or dealing with any of the HR payroll stuff. You can have them do set assignments, going to classes, speaking at student organization events, tabling for your organization, etc. They can do those types of things and really build awareness of your company at your target institutions. Or maybe your time horizon is even further down the line. We find that micro-internships become great resources and great ways to engage second-year students and even first-year students. Start building those relationships with the students now, so that by the time they're ready for your open internships or full-time roles, it's a no-brainer for them. You've worked with them for many years now, and they are so invested in your company that it becomes a no-brainer that they want to work with you long-term. And all of these interactions really feel into and become really powerful data points for you and your campus recruiting teams. You can see, for instance, geographically, where are the students who applied located, not only their physical location at campus, but also their hometown. You can see the feedback that they received from working on these different projects. You can have an ever-ready database of students who are excited to work with your company by doing these different projects. We call these insights, it's part of our Parker Dewey Plus platform. And it's, again, great opportunity and way for you to get some really meaningful, actionable insights about your college recruiting strategy. And we can talk a little bit more about that. We're doing a webinar in a few weeks that can share a bit more, and you'll get the recording. You'll get, these links later on when we send out the slide deck. Now, one last thing I want to touch on is, of course, cost. Now, as I mentioned before, thanks to that DeLuca Foundation grant, you can participate in micro-internships at no cost, these 15-hour projects. That grant is through the end of May of this year. So time's wasted. Certainly you could take full advantage right now. I hope that many of you do post projects, today even, or as soon as possible. Now, as I mentioned before, a lot of companies are using micro-internships at a larger scale and really excited about some of the recruiting data and so on. And so that's where, if you are interested, you can pilot this at scale and have access to that micro-internship Parker Dewey Plus dashboard that I just highlighted briefly. There is a no-cost free trial for 60 days that you can take full advantage of and see all of those students and a lot of other really great data points. The paid pilot's a little bit more open-ended. You certainly get more time. And then we have companies who are using this at scale, who are doing an annual subscription and really, again, integrating this as a core part of their campus recruiting strategy. To give you that a sense of the pilot program, that's going to give you these micro-internships, but also access to all of these valuable insights that you can see on that candidate engagement or Parker Dewey Plus platform. So where does this fit in strategically? Well, depending on what's top of mind for your initial goals, maybe you just have one ad hoc project that you need done. Great. This is a way you can find that additional bandwidth. But maybe you also have some additional challenges and pain points around keeping students that you've already made offers to happy, making sure that your renege rates are low, making sure that students are, maybe you have a company a department that just came to you saying, hey, I need this extra set of hands. This can be at a resource where you can get that just-in-time support that can align with some of these overall initial strategies. And building this out can be incredibly fast. So for example, most micro-internships are posted and filled within a matter of a couple of days. So we recommend, in fact, post the project and start it within the week, especially if you have some immediate project need and are open to working with students from multiple schools. But again, we are, happily will promote these projects to Lehman, and if that's a target institution that you have in mind. If you're interested in some of these more longer or larger scale programs, those can also be established within a week as well. So again, real quick turnaround where you can get some immediate impact. And as far as where this can fit in, it can solve a number of different hiring challenges. I'm not going to go into all of these in any sort of depth, but depending on what your particular challenges and pain points might be, you can click on any of these topics and see some specific examples about where and how micro-internships can help, and also some testimonials from students or companies who have used it in that particular capacity. So that being said, where to begin? Starts with that micro-internship. Post that first project. Start working with these students. They're excited and eager to help. Take advantage of the grant while the funding is still available. And then again, if you're interested in a larger scale, making this more of a strategic effort, let us know. We are certainly happy to have that conversation with you. But with that, I'm going to turn it back to the Lehman team, Justin, Sienna, Tammy, if there's something I missed or if there's something else that you'd like to share.
Thank you, Kristen. That sounded great on my end. Tammy, Louisiana, I don't know if you had anything you want to add.
Hi,
It
good
sounds
afternoon.
amazing. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tammy.
that's how excited we are too, that we had to speak at the same time. I think it was beautiful. It just so many great opportunities. And thank you, Louisiana. It's your turn. Thank you for letting me speak first.
Of course. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Justin, Kristen. I'm not able to turn on my camera.
You should
Oh,
be
there you
now.
go.
Sorry. There you are.
Okay, perfect. I just want to thank, of course, everyone on the call. Thank you so much for attending the session. Kristen, what an amazing presentation, really informative, and we're super excited to work with our partners to post micro-internships to hire Lehman students because these are just fantastic opportunities. And it's really just a win-win for everyone.
I couldn't say it better myself. Thank you. And certainly I'll stick around if there's folks that do have any final questions, but I'll put the links in the chat and I will And once again, take full advantage of this. This is a really short opportunity. It says we're having this conversation, mid to actually late February, gosh. But please make sure that you take full advantage of this great program while it's still here. After that May timeline, you're certainly welcome to post those opportunities. The funding may not be available at that point. We all know how grants can go and have, unfortunately, limited time frames. But again, we want to make sure you take full advantage if you're interested. So thank you so much, Justin, Luciana, Tammy. Really appreciate your inviting us and bringing us all together. And if anyone has any questions, certainly feel free to put it in the chat. But if not, I'll wish you all a great rest of your day.